Welcome back to the Whole Life Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy Tague, and today we have on a very special guest, Steve Haverly, who currently is running for mayor of Tacoma. We're here in June, and we are in the middle of the primary for the mayoral election. So we are lucky enough to have Steve Haverly on the podcast today. He's a longtime Tacoma resident. He's a family man. He's a mayoral candidate, and he's really just such a wonderful guy. We get to chat about what it's like to be in a mayoral race. This isn't such a political podcast, so we don't get super deep into any juicy political topics, but we do get to hear behind the scenes of what it's like to be a politician or to run for politics and run for mayor, and just the ins and outs of, what it's like to be a public figure, and for better or worse, and get to hear a little bit of the scandal behind the scenes. And just get to know Steve a little bit better. So super thankful to have him on the podcast and to share all of his mayoral knowledge with us. Thanks again for watching and tuning in. I'm so thankful every week, and just thank you. And let's get to the episode.
Witchcraft and me. Make sure you put that out there so people know I'm really into witchcraft.
Sound bites are going to be awesome.
I know, right?
Yeah. You're going to have a whole different demographic coming.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
I've been wondering how to tie into the voodoo magic scene.
How to break into the witch circle, into the covens.
Yeah. God, it's such a hard group to get into.
Yeah. Steve, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it very much.
And is it Haverly?
Haverly.
Okay.
East Coast, I found, because I asked online.
Yeah.
East Coast, they say Haverly.
Yeah.
West Coast, Haverly.
Oh, really?
Just
interesting. Haverly.
Thanks to Facebook, we can find these things out.
So it's Haverly.
Yeah.
Interesting. And running for mayor.
Again.
Second time.
Yeah. Ran in 2021 against the incumbent.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And, forgive me for my lack of terminology in some cases.
That's cool.
Is the incumbent, does that mean the current mayor?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, she was, so you're allowed 2 4-year terms.
Yeah.
She was the mayor at the time, running for re-election.
Oh, okay.
So she was the incumbent. And
okay.
I actually ran against her because no one else was.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, people are fed up. So I was watching to see who would enter.
Yeah.
And no one entered. You have a 5-day period where you can enter. And so the last day came and no one was running. She was going to be put right back into office.
Yeah.
And as backwards as things were in Tacoma, I was like, how can this be? So I was a little naive, but I entered.
Yeah.
And then a third person entered, and I made it through the primary and then on to the election. So I still got 40% of the vote.
Dang. Yeah. That's great.
For being completely unknown in political circles. So
and to come in kind of last minute. How at what point is the signing up for mayor and then getting to the actual voting?
Yeah. So it's a 1 week in May. So ours was the 9th was the last day. Yeah. So it starts at 9 a.m. that Monday and ends 5 o'clock that Friday.
Yeah.
Last time I think it was 4 o'clock. So, and I entered at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
That's how close it went to no one running against her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was running against her. I called her that night and said, I'm not running against you. I'm running for Tacoma. She's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We had a good relationship throughout.
Oh, good. Yeah. I've met Victoria a few times.
Yeah.
I used to work for the city of Tacoma
I saw that.
in the planning department. And so my first week on the job was a meeting with her, and there was some developers wanting to do something. And so we brought the planning development supervisor in, and I got to sit in on the meeting and meet everybody and stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a real nice lady.
And then, so last time you really only had like a month or something. Is that?
So it's, so the primary is in August. So you have from the filing
May
time,
to August.
May to August to get it together.
Which is not that much time.
No.
To be unknown.
No.
And not really have a plan, I assume.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. And I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
But since then, so my campaign honestly kicked off January 29th of 2024.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing this for over a year.
Yeah.
Because I found you got to get your name out there. You got to get more than May is too late.
Yeah. I was thinking about that too. And thinking like in a mayoral race.
Yeah.
I think, especially because there's not like national coverage of it.
Yeah.
So then it's more about like whose name is the most recognizable.
Right.
Because then when you look at the ballot, you're like, oh, I've seen Steve's name around. Like Steve sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of inclined to go that way, I think, just because it's like who you've seen.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Like
it's a weird dance. It's a game. And this time around, I'm way more prepared for it.
Yeah.
And knowing all the ins and outs that I went through last time, I know the game more. I've been to way more council meetings in the last 5 years than I did before.
Yeah.
I'm way more involved in going to more events and learning more about the political scene, and it's a machine, the political machine, how it operates and functions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because it's kind of unfortunate because like at this level that like people really aren't that involved. No. And like, that's kind of one of the things, like I went to school for urban planning and sustainable development. Cool. So I'm like kind of interested in the organism that is a community and a city and like how it operates. Yeah. And like going to that through that program was like the first time I ever went to a city council meeting.
Yeah.
And then realizing that the vast majority of people have never been or even know that they can go.
Exactly. And
there's this like disconnect with like how things work and how things get done.
Very much so.
And then to find too that in those circles, it very much is the same people.
Oh yeah.
Going to all the things.
Yeah.
And like the machine that it's kind of like a career, like you become a career politician in a way to stay involved.
It's a lifestyle. I mean, that's
fun.
I'm telling you, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. People live, eat, and breathe the politics of what's going on, and they go to every Tuesday they go to the council meetings, and then the next day they're right at it, plotting and planning and dissecting what was said and who said what and why and who are they connected with, and it's got a life of its own.
Yeah.
It's really it's cool and creepy at the same time.
Yeah. And it is like, there's so much emotion tied up in it. Like I have another friend, who like her dad's a judge and they're like very involved in the community. And she used to be a campaign manager, as well. And like, recently this past year, a city council member passed away.
Right. Ushka. Ushka.
And they were really close. And there was all this drama because they like you're mourning someone passing, but you need to find someone to fill the spot.
Yeah.
And then there was a malfunction on the website, and there was like accusations of, trying to rig the system and stuff. Yeah. And they're like, our friend just died and we're just trying to keep things going. But like from, it's like how heated people get about national things. It's like on a local level, it's like, well, you're trying to rig the system.
Oh yeah.
And like you could have had the best intentions, but like from one person's perspective, you get so much hate and my friend kind of was like, I can't be involved in this.
Stepping back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to those council meetings at the time, and a friend of mine, Brett Johnson, was vying for that spot, and so long Chung, another friend of mine, was vying for that spot. Hunter Henderson. Oh, just great members of the community. Really, really diehard, live, eat, and breathe Tacoma kind of people. And and so who they chose was it worked out. But there was a little bait and switch, people feel, because there was he had said that he was just going to finish out her term and fulfill her legacy. And that was part of why they chose him. And then now that he's in, he's running for re-election.
When you're in the seat and you're like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I actually...
No shade. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just stating. So that ruffled a lot of feathers.
Totally.
And my buddy Brett was like, hey, wait a minute.
That's so tough when it's like, unless you're in the role, you don't know how you're going to, like, if you like it or, and so those kind of things too, it's like, it can be so unforgiving when you're like, well, I changed my mind because I enjoy this, or I feel like I can really help, or, whatever. Or maybe someone was in their ear too, like, maybe you should think about continuing. And it's like, and then from the outside though, it's like,
I'm laughing because every little thing you say will come back and bite you. Any little thing you say will come back. You can say they when you should not have said they. You can say it when you should have said it's. Every little syllable that comes out of your mouth can be misconstrued and turned into something that you completely didn't. And then the attacks come in and you're like, but
that's not what I
meant. Come on now. In the real world,
like they're feeding off of it. You're like,
I was going to tell you something funny that happened when I did run before, or when I entered that last Friday. I filed at 11 o'clock, right? At 11:20, and I know this because my security cameras caught it. A car had pulled up and was taking pictures of my house.
Oh my!
Within 20 minutes,
wow!
Someone was in front of my house taking pictures.
That is quick.
And cars were driving by real slow and looking up at my house. And my wife and I happened to be home at the same time, and I was like, "This is weird. This is
scary."
And my phone was blowing up. Who are you? Give me your elevator pitch. I got to know what you're all about.
Wow!
Because you have to enter your
information
in there, your address. Now I have a PO box.
Smart.
Got learn from lessons. The others. But it's
holy moly.
It was when I said creepy, that was an understatement. It got weird. But now I get it. Now I'm used to it.
And I can kind of see the both sides. And then too, there's also this like understanding how like city council works, or like how an elected government works, like where it's like that person you're voting for them because you like the way they do decisions, and then they're going to act for the larger populace. And then the mayor is like channeled everyone's focus, and like you are the representative of the city. So then they're like, who is this person? Now that's the way it should be. It's not the way it is. And that's been a problem, and that's what I ran on last time. And I know this isn't a political podcast, but since we're talking about it. Totally. And I also like, it's not a political podcast, but like we can like meander. There's not really any subjects. It's more like, I don't want you to think that there's like, I'm going to come after you for hard issues or something. Like I'm more just wanting to get to know you, and like people to like, I love the like people hearing about the mayoral process, or like, I've been telling people that I'm going to interview you, and people don't even know there's a race going on right now. So
it's scary. I mean, it's sad. It's disappointing, but there is an inside to the machine that council members won't talk about, and are instructed not to talk about. And I've run against that. Last time my tagline for my campaign last time was Unified Tacoma. because I was so tired of the division of the left and the right, and can't we all just get along? And, we're all in this city together, and there's so much that we have to move forward if we can break the division down. And even that was misconstrued. Like I was a MAGA Republican in hiding. And so I'm not, and I wasn't. And I truly believe every voice matters. Everyone's got an opinion. You got to find a happy medium, and it's like conflict resolution. You got to mediate between the two sides and find something that's going to be positive for the whole city. And so I believe in that now. I don't use that catchphrase. I use visualize Tacoma because that's what we went with. But I still believe the same thing. We're all in the same boat. Let's row together.
Yeah.
And if you're too far left, you're going to go in a circle, and if you're too far right, you're going to go in a circle.
Totally.
So let's just get on board with each other and make it work. So, but my problem, going back to what we started talking about, is it should work. Every person that you elect should represent your voice and carry that into those meetings, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest disconnect, one of the biggest disconnects in the city right now. That's why I'm running for mayor, not council. Reason I ran last time for mayor, not council, is because council members are held to a certain, this is what you're going to talk about, this is how we're doing things. It's not about being the almighty mayor, because that's where it's a weak mayor system in Tacoma. The city manager literally runs the city.
Yeah.
But the mayor is kind of a representative of the council, and they're our 9th council member. So, my whole life has been in leadership. So it's a better fit than council member. And I feel like you can do more as a mayor. You can shape and say, we're going to represent the people. And honestly, I think council members want to represent the people. There's been council members who are elected in and go, this is not what I signed up for. I wanted to, and then zip.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah.
This is the way it is. So just smile and take a picture.
Yeah.
So I want to break us out of that cycle. And I do feel that a mayor should be able to do that and can do that. And that's why I'm running.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting, like you said, the mayor doesn't have a lot, it's a weak mayor system in Tacoma. Yeah. And there's like this misconception about the power of a mayor. It's like so that meeting that I was in when I first started with the city was actually, I like working for the city also, like as a city planner, people see you as the city when they're talking to you, and they're like, why won't you let me do it? It's like I didn't make the rules. I'm just like reading them back to you because they're complicated. And I'm basically just like a translator for what it says. Right. But then, the certain developers are like, well, I know the mayor and I'm going to talk to the mayor. I'm like, okay.
Gotcha.
Like,
crystal clear.
Yeah. Like I know where you're going with this.
And on that note, because I'm in development.
Yeah.
And I don't stand to make a dime off of being mayor. I work for a construction company. Yeah. I've been in land development for 30 plus years. Yeah. It's not my passion would be television and film, like we were talking about before this, but it's what I do, and it's what I know. I can do it in my sleep. I mean, I wake up knowing community development and planning. So I think your voice, yours or other planners, I think that's who you lean on. You don't lean on the mayor to make the decisions or the council to make decisions, but they do make those decisions. I was at a planning, open to the public kind of thing where you can meet the planner and talk about this. And one of the planners, I won't say his name, great guy. he said, well, here's why we decided this because of this. And we decided this because of this. And I'm going, right on, dude. I love it that you're speaking my language. I go, so why didn't that happen? And he just smiled. And I go, so when you brought this to the council and to the mayor, how come that didn't happen? Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, he just smiled.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately the council does what the council wants to do.
Yeah.
And I said, exactly. I said, dude, I have a lot of respect for you. And he just smiled, kept it professional. Mm-hmm. But that's a problem. Mm-hmm. You don't, this is why you hire people. This is why people work in the field to say, dude, this is why a planner goes to school and learns all the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. So you can lean on their expertise. Mm-hmm. And you don't go the other direction.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. It's so interesting because that exact thing, like, you know, a lot of people don't even know that there's like a 20-year comprehensive plan that is like directing the development of the city and like forecasting population growth and transportation needs and water needs, and all the needs are being considered. You know, of course, some things get missed and bad decisions are made and things like that. But it, you know, one of the things that, like, if I'm describing the process, is like, I could make the most perfect plan ever that like meets all these things,
right?
But it's still up to council. Like they could just throw it out, even though it's the most perfect thing. And that's kind of the like interesting thing about politics, because some of it is like their opinion, and then some of it is listening to their constituents and be like, well, this is what they want. And so I kind of have to do that politically. And
there's a third, there's the constituents, there's the professionals, and then there's special interests.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I am fighting for, the voice of the professionals, for the people's voice, and not against special interests, but we can't roll out the red carpet and give them carte blanche.
No,
because that's not serving the people. So that's a big thing that I'm running on, especially being in development myself and knowing what you and your professional colleagues came up with. There's a reason why you came up with that, and that needs to be followed. You know, and it may not be perfect for what special interest wants, but it's not about them. It's about running the city and doing the right thing. And so, I'm on the same page.
And and it is interesting too. Like, I'm sure, you know, some people hear developer and they're like, oh, like, you know, they're like, usually like people get labeled and stereotyped with all the worst cases.
Oh yeah.
So especially like a developer in politics at all is like a dance of but working like as a planner, like I was talking to developers all day long, and there's the good ones that are doing it on it, like want to do it honestly. And then there's the ones that are like kind of whiny and and want to like grease the wheels and like try, like think that the crazy part about it is like I can like talking to so many people, like you can almost immediately tell the mindset when they're looking for the loophole. Yeah. And then they're like basing this whole project on this like shaky loophole.
Right.
And jumping through all these hoops and all stressful. And it would be like 100 times easier just to follow the rules and like,
excuse me,
not deal with any of the like weird trying to sneaky. It's like, just do a project that's straightforward. Right. Like you just save yourself so much trouble. Yeah. But it's like a mindset that some people hang on to. And it's like, they're like beating their head against the wall, or like, you know, trying to run to the mayor where, and often like in the planning role, like that, the one where I had the meeting, it's like, it was like way too late in the process for they were like expecting the mayor to like wave a wand. Yeah. But it's like, that's another part that is kind of interesting about the process, where we'd be implementing these codes or development regulations. And then people are upset with the outcome.
Right.
And they're like, how did we let this happen? I was like, this happened years ago.
Right.
And so
this is the end result.
Yeah.
This is years in the making.
Yeah. And that
like the warehouse problem.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, the warehouse never should have been greenlit because it was protected land. It was protected. That's why we have protected land. Yeah. Is because we need that land open for our aquifers. And I know you know more about it than I do. But and when I say I've been in development, I've never been a developer. I've always worked for the developers. And so I know their end goal. Yeah. I am pro intelligent development, and like home in Tacoma and home in Tacoma 2, in my opinion, is not the answer to it's not the answer to it. It should be our last resort for when we do run out of space and when we do run out of land. But it's not, we have, again, you may know more about this than I do, but we have, from what I understand, we have enough vacant and derelict land to last us to 2050 to account for our 1% growth. Yeah. We don't need to tear down. You have a cool home.
Thank you.
But this is zoned for to be torn down and an apartment building to be right here. Yeah. And so I've got senior citizens, one in particular, who wrote me saying, I've got developers knocking on my door, blowing up my phone, asking me how much, you name your price, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm not selling. This is my home. Leave me alone. Yeah. And that's home in Tacoma too. That is, now they have the green light to do that throughout our city. And I just, only to make up, say if it's an 8-plex, there only has to be 2 affordable housing units in that 8-plex. Yeah. So it's counterintuitive. And let's say your house is $400,000-$500,000. Yeah. Well, anyone who's buying land for $400,000 and $500,000 and $600,000, that better be some prime land with a view of the mountain and on the water. And you cannot make affordable housing for a $500,000 piece of land. Yeah. It's not going to happen. So the numbers don't add up. So I'm fighting hard to dial back home in Tacoma and home Tacoma 2 because it's not good. Yeah. This is a great home that deserves to be passed on to generations and for people to see. This probably 60, 70, 80 years old, something like that.
Oh, it's like, I think we just had our 100-year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Our house is 110. Yeah. I would hate to see it torn down. And an apartment go up.
Thank you again so much for watching. Today's episode is sponsored by no one yet, but we do have a Patreon if you want to donate and sponsor the podcast yourself. We're working hard to get stuff up for the Patreon, as well as, and by we, I mean me. It's just me right now. So all the help, it's just going to be the best, and it'll help get an editor and continue to grow the podcast. And then also making a book recommendation. If you're looking for a simple way to kind of improve yourself, one of my favorite books that was kind of one of the beginning books for my personal development journey was The 4 Agreements. It's literally like these 4 agreements that you give to yourself. I couldn't find my copy. It's somewhere. So we're going to pretend like it's here, but I'm going to leave a link below. And it's just, learning things like being true to your word, being not making assumptions. And so I won't give all the little agreements, but really just fundamentally change how I viewed like interacting and operating as a human. Very simple, but very effective and profound. So check that out. And thank you again for watching. And let's get back to the episode. Housing is a really tough hot topic. Yeah. Really hard solution, like problem to solve because it's so expensive. Yeah. Like it's an interesting dance between like safety, energy efficiency, and affordability. Yeah. Because they'll implement new things. So it's like just in general, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But then like with the Washington Growth Management Act, like pinpointing Tacoma to accommodate a lot of the area, then you're like, okay, how do we make it viable?
Yeah.
Whereas like some of the stuff, like there's like a big one that was really exciting was the accessory dwelling units.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to be like putting, new things into places that are already existing and preserving like beautiful old houses
and supplemental income and things like that. It's cool. And it's Airbnbs are a way of the future. And there's great elements to, and that wasn't necessarily home in Tacoma, but it's in there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, that was like the prelude to home in Tacoma. But the actual like building an accessory dwelling unit is so expensive. So it's not really like people, when they hear about it, they see it as this like affordable option to add a unit to their property.
Right.
But it's like $200,000-$300,000 to build one.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there's like some specialty developers that are like focused on that.
Yeah.
And that's like their bread and butter. But I know, like I met a bunch of them that was like, it's not worth it for us to build those. And so they just focus on houses and things like that.
Yeah.
But then too, that adds in like, it's so hard to make it affordable.
Yeah.
And then, and then the more you scale up, the tougher it is, or the more like it's hard to find affordable vacant land. So it's really a tough thing.
But they're out there, and that we have so much of it. You'll drive along and see why is it? There's a full on
downtown still like
downtown. I got in so much trouble last time for calling downtown a ghost town, and all the business development people were like, "Dude, what do you?"
Like, don't be ragging on our ghosts.
I'm like, no, I'm not throwing shade. I love Tacoma, but it's not.
That's to me.
When I was in the 90s, I worked downtown.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to have worked in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it was thriving. It was, we had like, where do you want to go for lunch? And there's 20 places.
Yeah.
Or where do you want to go have a drink after work? I mean, we had all these options, and now downtown, by comparison, I'm sorry to say, but it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
And there's so many businesses that are all in Tacoma, and they're like, they dial these bars and restaurants in, they dial them in, and then they got to shutter their doors because there's not enough people down there
yet.
And we're charging them for parking. We're making, we're giving all these roadblocks for why people don't go down there.
Yeah. There is like been so much development down there in the last few years though. I'm really curious to see how it starts to build out. Cause it's like thousands of units like going in that area. And so like the next 5 years, I think will be really interesting to see, like a business will be able to thrive. Like some of I've been in Tacoma for 6 years, but some of them, like the coolest places down there have gone out of business because like you just can't.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It sucks so bad.
Yeah. And that's an interesting dilemma also is like, there is some flexible code for downtown where you can like a space has to be built to standards for a commercial unit, but in the meantime it can be residential. But it has to be able to be converted in the future if someone wants to, which is really neat because there's this like, what do you build first, the commercial or the housing? Right. But like you need the people and then you need the things
and for me, it's all about mixed use.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just mixed use in, and this is you and I maybe geeking out a little bit about construction and development. It's not so much mixed use as in commercial on the bottom and residential up top. Who's to say we don't go vertically and have offices on the left and apartments on the right? Who's to say you can't live in the same building you work at, which no one wants to do really. I mean, get me out of here. Yeah. But options. Let's come up with options. We have all this space down there would you rather it's sitting unoccupied and not generating any income or taxable income for the city? Or would you rather make something, take this spot that someone's been sitting on for 30 years that they have no intention of doing anything with, saying, come on, what's it going to take? Let's pull out the used car salesman thing and say, what's it going to take to make you develop this into something that we can all use?
Yeah.
You know, what's it going to take to turn this into either living or retail? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it sit there with window coverings and just decay. It's like, let's inject some spirit into this downtown. Downtown for me that's our immediate answer for a lot of problems. But I think that's what I'm kind of running on.
Yeah. And I think like, I love like readapted spaces. Exactly. Like they're so interesting. Yeah. And that's kind of one area that I'd like to see like grow in Tacoma, is kind of like, not just in the development, but like the artist community. Because a lot of times it's like the artist community that will be like, this can be used. And it like, you think outside the box and you don't get bogged down like by the existing rules and like, let's make this work. And I think that like,
excuse me,
creativity like activates the space, and then it brings more like I think that's something that I see missing sometimes in Tacoma. Like I think it is happening, but then like also being like kind of like in proximity to Seattle, like Seattle will draw some of the energy up there, but it's like we have so many talented people down here. And like getting like, I like the idea of like connecting people together to collaborate and create new things. Is a really beautiful thing. Yeah.
The talented people in Tacoma thing really, I've been involved in, with James Hume, who you met earlier, but he's incredibly involved in the arts and brought me into so many things. We did a local film festival, the Tacoma Tortured Artists Film Festival back in the 90s. It was awesome. And we packed the Pantages, and it was really cool. We have a great, thriving group of people in Tacoma that, and our art scene is amazing, but there's so much more that we can do.
Totally.
So much more. And our music venues, we've got, the city had brought down some people from Seattle to run some concert series and get their feedback. But we've got perfectly capable people here in Tacoma who know Tacoma better than someone from Seattle. No offense to Seattle. I was heavily involved in the Seattle music scene too in the 90s and 2000s. I love it, but Tacoma's its own monster, its own beast. So, and I mean that in a good way. It didn't sound right, but
no, it's. I think it sounds right. Yeah,
we've got talented people here who can do just fine organizing these events. They know Tacoma better than anyone in Seattle, and there's a big push to don't Seattle my Tacoma. There's we're not in the shadow of Seattle. We're our own entity, and damn it, let's celebrate our city. And that's how a lot of people, we take it personally. You know, I've been here my whole life, 56 years, and I take it personally. I used to, so I know I'm digressing, but
no, I like it.
I worked in the .com industry for like 2 years. And construction, it was. Back then it was harder on my body. I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. And so I had an opportunity to be a photographer for a .com. And so everyone in the office knew I lived in Tacoma, and they'd come at me with, do you feel scared? Are you scared in Tacoma? And I was just like, no, never felt scared in my life. In fact, I feel way more threatened up here than I do. And I would take it personally, and I'd get a little feisty. And so they knew after a while, like, don't ask them about Tacoma. But I'm like, no, I was here when the Bloods and Crips were here, and I still felt safe.
I also I still when I tell people I'm in Tacoma, and there's still people that are like, oh, like I heard it's not so good. I'm like, no, like, not and true. I don't know. Like, I think North Tacoma is one of the best kept secrets. Like,
amen.
It's like the waterfront and Point Defiance, like the parks are just so amazing, and the neighborhoods, like the historic neighborhood, and like there's just so many beautiful neighborhoods. And everyone like has this like impression of maybe like the mall area, or like that's what Tacoma is in their mind.
They know about Tacoma what they see from I-5.
Yes.
And I'm like, you have no idea about Tacoma.
We did that intentionally to like
keep you away. And when I say the Bloods and the Crips, I've gotten flack for saying that because when I was in junior high and high school, that's when the infiltration of the gangs, and I lost a few friends to gang violence. So, but I'm not trying to portray myself as a hardened veteran of, survivor of the gang.
Totally.
That's what I mean. People scrutinize everything you say, but that was, I went to school at Jason Lee's in Hilltop, and that's where I grew up. Not far from here. So
we're like in the neighborhood that like a lot of it was going on, I think.
So I can hear the flack coming.
Totally.
So
You're like, I know.
Headed off at the pass.
You must have like learned so quickly, like the few years ago when you started, of like this sense of like really like second guess what you're saying. Or like,
every word. I'm okay now. Back then I was like, God, this is horrible. No, I didn't mean it like that. Gee whiz.
And then too, you're just like never going to make everyone happy. So you just got to like let it go.
I used to take the emails personally that would come in, the personal attacks. And I got one actually two nights ago. I've only gotten 2 bad emails. That doesn't mean it's not a green light to flood my inbox.
Like actually,
but I've only had 2. One guy thought our signs were witchcraft, our little stickers, because they had a hand on them.
That's going to appeal to some people.
I know, right? It's not witchcraft; it's visualized Tacoma. So there's that bad email.
To be witchcraft.
I know, right? Unless, and then there was one about. That I said the other candidates won't listen to you the way I do. And so I said, all right, dude, here's what that meant. I had to describe it. But I used to take these emails personally, like lose sleep. Like I would not check my emails before I went to bed. Because if I got a bad one, I would not sleep.
Be riled
So
up.
now I know, but and like notifications on my phone, sometimes if someone will text me an image, I'm like, oh boy, what is this? Is this a screenshot of something someone said about me? That's I'm gonna lose sleep over.
It's funny because like
it's brutal.
People I think would like do that, right? And they're like, oh man, did you see that? But it's like, maybe I don't need that. Like just like I don't need to see it. Like I know it's happening. And
but there's one lesson I did learn from that. I would get those from people, and I would write back and I go, you know what? I appreciate you doing that. But knowing how it feels, I know that there's people, attacking my opponent. Just the same. And I'd rather not, I don't want to partake in it. You feel dirty. You're like, I don't want to run a campaign that way. I'm running for Tacoma. If they said something that they said, I'm not going to make anything of it because I know what it's like to be scrutinized. And it's no fun.
I also, I always think like when people are saying that stuff, like they're not doing good. Like if they think that like saying something nasty, like they're getting some satisfaction of that. Like whenever I interact with that, it's like, you just aren't okay. Like, and it's not to like, just be like, oh, they couldn't possibly like understand what's going on or something like that. But it's like, usually like when someone's spitting so much venom is because they're like on the inside. And that's kind of like what helps me. Like when someone has something that like, rubs me the wrong way, it's like, I just know like if I was ever in a place, like I'd have to be in like a dark place to want to hurt someone in that way. And that like kind of helps me like feel more compassion with people like that.
There is one angle though. The funny thing, 9 times out of 10, and that's not an exaggeration, 9 times out of 10, you could go to their Facebook page and they'll be a supporter of your opposition. So,
oh yeah, they're
so
just like trying to take you down.
Yeah, they just, it doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you got a shiny halo. They are going to, you're the devil to them. And
oh yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
So you just, my response to dude 2 nights ago, and the funny thing is I responded in like 10 minutes of him sending it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, you're not going to get this kind of immediate response from anybody else. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But I wrote him back. I was pleasant as can be. I'm like, dude, I appreciate what you said. And you know what? You're right. I shouldn't have said my other opponents, because it was written at a time when there were only 2 that I knew of.
Yeah.
But now there's 6 of us total.
Oh, wow.
So I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I took the verbiage right out off the website.
Yeah.
I said, I appreciate you. And you're absolutely right.
Me out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You know, but he ended it with, I hope nobody votes for you.
Yeah.
Like,
you're like,
all right, dude,
nice.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
Way to go. But I was like, I took it and I'm like, no, you actually had a great point. And thanks for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Didn't care what you had to say about my mom. So
yeah, exactly. Like say whatever you want. Like,
right.
Yeah. Do you have like you said, you got a PO box, which definitely makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah. But people already know where I live.
Yeah, it's too late. It's out in the world, and they'd find it.
Yeah, all they have to do is look up the last thing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
you'll do what you do.
You
be you.
I won't give you any
I'm
hints.
good, dude.
Yeah. Do you have a separate phone number for it too?
No, I just have my own.
Because I was wondering, like, because you're just getting, people can see it, right? So you're just like getting random.
I haven't this time. Yet. I bet after the primaries I'll probably get blown up. But I still have messages from 2021.
Oh yeah.
I still have, cause it means something to me. It's feedback, whether it's good or bad. And I called every person back.
Yeah.
I did get a text like a week ago and I was in the middle of work and stuff and I didn't get back to you. And I apologize. I will today.
Yeah, that's a promise.
I will, and you feel bad. You're like
totally. Yeah.
And then you'll get a text. Well, I see you didn't care to respond to me, so I'm voting for X.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they want on-demand mayor services.
But here's one thing that I don't think people realize, and this is not I'm not whining or complaining.
Yeah.
I'm saying kudos to anyone who's running because it's 24/7.
Yeah.
And I have a full-time, very, very intense job.
Yeah.
I'm in construction. I run, I'm a general superintendent for a commercial company. And so I have all of our superintendents, all our carpenters, laborers, and every job that our company does filters through me. So I'm constantly on the phone.
Yeah.
And we work 24 hours a day because we have night crews.
Yeah.
And so my work phone is going 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, not between, but still with text messages. Anyway, so doing that and full-time campaigning and door knocking and posting signs and it's around the clock.
Yeah.
It is. And this is what people don't understand. You always have tension in your chest.
Yeah.
You always have, I'm getting goosebumps now.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. It's like, you don't know what's being said or done out there against you, but it's always happening.
Yeah.
And it's a creepy feeling.
Yeah.
But running it's 24/7. I have knots in my stomach 24/7.
Yeah.
And I'm not whining or complaining. I chose this.
Just the way it is.
But that's just how it is. Kudos to anyone who's doing this because it's intense.
That's like something I've never thought of, but like you were always on alert.
Yeah.
Like just like, waiting, anticipation, like constantly. That's so interesting.
Every email, every text, you don't know if it's going to be a critique or criticism.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a good way of life.
No.
I mean, it's kind of, because I think about it 24/7. I'm always tense. My wife is like, what's going on? I'm like, Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Your kids know. I have a 26-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old doesn't really understand, but my son, it wore on him. It wore on our family last time.
Yeah. I was going to ask how, you know, so you're married?
Yep.
2 kids?
Married 10 years. Son I had when I was 30 and best thing that ever happened, you know, totally put my life into perspective.
Yeah.
And then I met my wife in 2014. We were married a year later. Only marriage. And then we had our daughter.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then did they you said it, they were affected last time?
Yeah, my wife was pretty much. My son, actually, honestly, my son went through a lot because his friends were, and I'll be completely honest, and this is out there. The last campaign, I was really, really put under a microscope. I was a white male running against 2 black females. Yeah. And I was immediately the white devil.
Yes. Yeah.
And really bad stuff was said in a website made, a Twitter thing that's a parody site, but people didn't know it was a parody site.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best.
And so my son, my poor son, was getting his phone blown up. Don't look at Twitter. Stay away from Twitter. Oh, man. Of course. They're roasting your dad. People, I was getting side eyes in supermarkets, and every campaign event I went to, I was getting the side eyes because of the things that were being said about me and the person I was made out to be. Totally. Was 100% fabricated. Oh yeah. But it didn't matter. Yeah. And so my son he hit it pretty well for me, but he was kind of mad at me. Yeah. You know, like, what'd you bring this on us for?
Like, why'd you
And he lived at the house at the time people were driving by, and yeah, it was just weird. Yeah. You know, it wasn't cool. But this time around, knock on wood, it's not, it's 100 a complete 180 from last time. Yeah. Totally better.
Yeah. There's a lot of things like with Victoria retiring. Is that what it's called as a mayor? Retiring?
Well, she's termed out.
Yeah.
So she can't run anymore.
Yeah. So it's not even a question of like, you're not trying to take it over from her or something.
And I wasn't last time. Yeah. I was literally running for Tacoma.
Yeah. And I honestly, I think that there just should be, I mean, should's a strong word, but I think it's beneficial to have an opponent, just to even have options, like, and to see what the difference could be. Totally. And like, even if you just stick with the same person, it's just like, I think it makes for a healthy environment. Yeah. But then too, it sounds like there's more people. So maybe too, some of the criticism can be dispersed among all of you.
Yeah, it really is. And excuse me, I didn't know that there were going to be 5. I was aware of 2 others, and then the third other, I was aware of them, and then but date of filing, or the week of filing, I'm like, 5 others. Okay, sweet. This is cool. This is what it should be. Yeah. And then there was also the right versus left, and I'm a Democrat. Yeah. I align more with the left, but a mayor is nonpartisan and supposed to represent everyone. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Yeah. You have to represent everyone, no matter what your national affiliation may be. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You're still a human being. You still have an opinion. You still have needs. Your needs need to be heard and met. And so, and that was a major part of why I ran last time, is because I don't think it was that both sides were being heard and that everyone's voice mattered. Yeah. And I truly believe it has to. And that's what democracy is all about. I want to make Tacoma, not just as a mayor, I'd like to lead the way for us to be something that other cities can go, oh, that works. Let's do that. Yeah. And it focuses around doing what the people need. And this is not political speech. This is me. This is how my brain functions. Yeah. It's interesting, the line, like, too, like, just getting into like politics at all, having it, conversations become like having to even make the distinction of like, this is just how I feel versus like this, we're talking politics and like,
we're like talking agendas and things like that. It's just so interesting because like once you're in the spotlight, it's like everything, you're like you said earlier, it gets scrutinized. Yeah. You've probably like had to really like kind of develop a thick skin throughout the process, like not for the faint of heart.
It's not at all. Not at all for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Not only is the campaign 180 from last time, I am too.
Yeah.
I handle it way better because I never stopped.
Yeah.
I literally took like a month off, and I said, well, no, I'm running again in 2025.
Yeah. You're like,
I'm all in.
Yeah.
And so I never stopped. This campaign never really stopped.
Yeah.
So in that, I've gotten used to it. You know, so my mentality, I'm way more prepared for this time.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I'm just so thankful for anyone that chooses to go on this listening or viewing experience. Truly thankful. Again, plugging the Patreon if you want to support. All of the donations at this point would be going to help with editing, to free up more time for interviewing, as well as like getting sponsorships and things like that. So, thank you so much. And again, for agreements, the book, the link is down below. Any purchases through that, it's an affiliate link. So any sales also go to help support the podcast. So thank you so much. And let's get back to the episode.
You know what, though? It's not that far from the truth. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
He told me some pretty wild stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just met someone that works for the FBI recently, too. And I think they're maybe the first person I know, but they do like drug sting operations.
Yeah,
and they busted this fentanyl operation. It was like the first... I think this is like okay to say. I won't say her name, but it's like her first operation that she went on, like in person. Like she's, there's a lot of research and observation behind the scene, but they busted this operation that had it was like 13 sites with like 80,000 fentanyl pills or something.
Yeah.
And then she told me some statistic where it's like, it was like enough fentanyl to kill the entire city or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like an insane amount.
I think I have pictures of the same drug bust.
Oh no! No way!
He sent me that stuff.
Yeah, I think it just happened
after it hit the news.
Yeah, like a week or two ago or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
He was stationed here in Tacoma, lived right across the street from me, and had to leave Tacoma because it was getting too dangerous.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this guy
That's why he moved.
Yeah.
Dang.
He said, we're out of here.
Interesting.
Yeah, he came from
too much heat.
North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that. But he relocated, still in the state of Washington. I won't say where, but went somewhere safer than Tacoma.
Wow. Interesting. They're looking for him.
Yeah, so one night he was at my house actually. He was out on our deck. We were just chit-chatting. Got to go. He left.
Yeah.
Took off in his cruiser, and came back, and the thing was all bashed up. He had right down the street here, down on Sprague, that armed robbery at the Shell station or whatever.
Oh,
right there by Peckfield, the old Peckfield.
I thought I heard that. Was there a bunch of shots fired?
Oh yeah.
Like the other day, I was like, it really sounds like a shootout.
Yeah.
Like interesting.
Yeah. So he just disappeared and came back and
was like, oh yeah, we were
all
just
bashed up.
Gunfight.
Yeah. I'm like,
wow, that's wild.
Yeah, I just got back from a gunfight.
Yeah, like no big deal. Like, just comes back to drinking a beer.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, where were we?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, just the stuff. But I had to leave Tacoma because it was getting too dangerous.
Wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
I think the gal that I met, she's like more of an analyst. So I don't think she's has as much risk. So I think she'll probably stick around, but I don't know. Who knows what can happen.
He would all of a sudden be down in California. And I'm like, where'd you go? Because I'd noticed his car wasn't back.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm down, because I'd make sure things are cool for his family, his wife and kids. Mm-hmm. And he's some guy he was following out in the peninsula, just started driving south. And so he just kept following.
Just following him. Wow.
And no luggage, no nothing, just
wow.
All right, I guess we're following this guy.
Going wherever he goes.
He was like in San Jose or something. I'm like,
wow.
Really?
That's wild.
I didn't know I was doing this, but
so it's like
just crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all here in Tacoma.
Interesting.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that?
God love it.
Yeah. Let's see. What did it feel like emotionally? Like to go through like people coming at you,
going through the harassment basically.
Yeah.
It was it was hard on my family. It was hard, especially on my son. He got the brunt of it because people would when the whole Twitter account thing happened, they were like, dude, don't go on the internet, stay off of Twitter. Your dad's getting roasted. I Reddit. I've been told to really pay attention to what's said about you on Reddit. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
You just need one more place.
Yeah. About, more I can find out that's
like, oh, great.
Not true and not good about
none of
me.
It's going to be good. Like no one's on, there's no Reddit chain that's like, man, Steve, he's such awesome. A nice guy. Have you met him? He is so lovely. Like,
Reddit's the one that called me and said I was a developer.
Oh,
I own my own development
that you
company.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was doing like consulting and thought maybe I could do that. I was director of construction for a shopping center in Gig Harbor called Uptown Gig Harbor. Yeah. So I left the company I was working for to be just that, the director of construction for this project. So I left and did that, and so we start to finish was 2 years. We went from still working. Yeah. It went from 21 acres of trees to a shopping center in 2 years. So I was really proud of that. So after that, I got asked by a buddy of mine to, hey, I want to buy some land and build an office building for myself. Could you do that? So I was like doing consulting. So I was like, oh, this could be kind of cool. So that's the closest I was to being a developer, but I didn't profit from it. I was hired to run, meet with the design review board in Gig Harbor and to, see it through from start to finish, that kind of thing. So, and I did that for a couple of years where I would be doing consultant stuff, but I didn't like it because I wanted to have coworkers. Yeah. I missed that aspect of life. So I went back in and started working for other companies, but people saw it as I was a developer trying to cash in on being the mayor. And anyone who knows me knows I'm the absolute not. I'm like so by the book. Yeah, I'll tell you why I was by the book in a sec. But it's not how I roll. But those are the kind of things that get fabricated. On
it's like one little thing and twisted. Yeah. What about Tumblr?
I never heard of that.
Never heard of that? I told my friend, because Tumblr is like this photo hosting site from like, I don't know, the early 2000s
where
or
you
something.
Could upload photos.
And it was like, are people still using it? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, what's the political sphere on Tumblr? I told my friend I'd ask you because he still uses it. For what? I'm not sure.
My dad would have used Tumblr. Yeah. To upload photos. Yeah. This is my dad's watch. It just started talking to me.
That's no way. Okay. Hey, Dad. He's here too. Maybe that's what it was.
That is my dad.
He's like, you guys are talking about
me. If there's ever a glitch with electronics, it's my dad. Oh, because he was that guy. He had every computer known to man and couldn't operate any of it because there was always a bug or always something wrong. Yeah. So that was my dad right there.
That's like it's funny because I'm dropping my truck off with my mechanic friend and, he's this great mechanic. He's got the worst car that you've ever. It's like, and then it's like always he's just perpetually fixing it.
Dad, quit it.
Dad, cut it out. Not right now, Dad.
I'm talking.
But it's like someone that owns a Volkswagen. It's like they're always just working on their car. I don't know what it is.
Always.
it's like, it's just, that's the lifestyle.
They're so touchy.
Like you talk about mayoral lifestyle. It's like Volkswagen is a different lifestyle. You're just a mechanic. I kind of want to know, did you always think you were going to grow up to be a mayor?
So funny you should ask that. As James Hume, who you met, I met him in the 90s shooting his dad's TV show, Ed Hume, the gardening guy. So James's mom, heavily influential in my life and in politics. So working in downtown Tacoma for Club 7 Studios was the name of his company. And we would always be involved in the arts and things going on in Tacoma. And Myrna said way back then in the early 90s, Steve, you're going to make a hell of a mayor for Tacoma one of these days. And she's, and I'd laugh it off. But she stuck to it all those years. You're really going to make a great mayor. And so she's like, no, really, like, you should run for mayor. And she said that when I was in my 20s. Well, I was in no place to do it back then. I think being 56 now, but I think being older makes me a better candidate for mayor because I am wiser. I mean, gosh, when you're 20 something, you do a lot of,
oh man,
you wouldn't, no, you're
it's
way
amazing,
too immature.
you know, like when you're young and, you know, especially like, I feel like in high school, like teachers would say like, you don't know anything. And you're like, oh, I know some stuff. And then like your 20s are like that too. And then you just, each stage you're like, wow, I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know what I was doing.
In my 30s, I was like, what an idiot. Still, in my 20s. My 40s, I was like, what an idiot in my 30s. Now I'm in my 50s and I'm like, all right, I was an idiot. But now I think I've gotten all that out of my system and I'm way more cognitive. I think so I always heeded Myrna's. She said all the way up until she died. She died 3 years ago. But she was a big supporter of the last time I ran, and big time support.
She must have been like, I told you so.
Oh yeah,
like really.
Yeah,
like, that's so cool to see it to come to fruition.
It really did. I do. Some say I couldn't blame Myrna for me wanting to. But
it's like a blessing and a curse.
Exactly. She was the kind of person who, and I would like to be this kind of mayor. I'd like to be the Myrna Hume of mayors. She was the kind of person who, whatever you wanted, she'd go, well, why aren't you doing it then?
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
that's such a good perspective, like having people in your corner like that.
Absolutely. Like, well, why? Let's do it. Here's what we need to do. Let's do this and this. And that's not just the mayor thing. That's anything. She is the reason I did half of the things in my life I've done because she's the kind of person. I've always said, God, if you meet someone like the Humes have been to me, hold on to them for dear life because, you know, like how many people did you tell you were starting a podcast and they're like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Oh yeah.
But then there's that one or two people who are like, oh, hell yeah, dude, you'd kill it. You should do it. And look at what you're doing. Yeah. I applaud that. I love that about life, about that's what it's all about. I mean, we're here to do great things. My dad I bring my dad up a lot because my dad was that guy. So he was a captain, Special Forces Green Beret. I mean, he was the ultimate fighting machine, just by the books, just my absolute hero. But after that, so he actually got in a life-changing motorcycle wreck after he got back from Vietnam. And it severed. I mean, his leg was turned into spaghetti, and his femur was broke, his hip was broke, his arm was broke. Yeah, just completely took him. And these are his words. He said, "Steve, I went from a fighting, killing machine to a cripple overnight." Yeah. And so it was a life-changing. He had planned on being in the military his whole life. Wow. Well, this motorcycle changed everything. I have a tattoo of the actual motorcycle on my shoulder.
Do you ride motorcycles too? Or?
Yeah, I drive a motorcycle. I have a Triumph now, but he was that guy. Like, all right, well, he went to be the ultimate, warrior in the military, and that got shattered by his accident. Well, he didn't just lay down and die.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to do something else. And he was the kind of guy who he went to New York to the, I think it was a New York Academy of Dramatic Arts. It's like, I'm going to go be an actor. And he, he went there and he killed it. And he was this, a great actor. He told us a story, and it's been 40 years since I've heard it, but he was supposed to be on this show called Dallas back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason he got cold feet and didn't do it. And I think he didn't want to be that far from his family, or maybe there's doubt, or but he was the guy who went after things and did what he set out to do. Whatever it was, he was all in. He was an entrepreneur, but he would never let anyone tell him he couldn't do something.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Just, so those kind of people, the Myrna Humes, the Scott Haverleys in life, for me, those are the people that I gravitate towards, because you can do, and it's not pie in the sky. You can do anything you set your mind to. It just sounds cliche.
Another part of that too is like, I mean, the like, the story, like the crabs in the pot, where they're like, the water's boiling and they'll pull each other back down. Yeah. And like encouragement or negativity is like that, where it's like, did you, run into people that were being negative towards your, like the doubters and the naysayers?
For everything I've done.
Yeah.
And I have done a lot of things in my dad's spirit, like I've been doing construction forever, but I started my own production company, for 5 years. I gave it 5 years. Yeah. But I went for it, and I went for it because Myrna Hume and my dad were like, well, hell yeah, you should do it. So those are the kind of things, those life experiences that I carry with me that make me want to go for things that are out of the ordinary. Of course, people said, who are you to be mayor? Yeah. Well, you know what? Mayors are just people. Yeah. And they're just citizens. And so are council members. They're just citizens who love their city. Yeah. Why not? Why not you?
One of the perspectives I really like to hang on to is especially when we see a mayor, or we see someone sees me doing the podcast or something, if you're doing it, they automatically give you this assumption of credibility. Yeah. Right. What's going, what you're doing. Right. But I always love to remember, we're just making it up. Yeah. You're just making, I've never done a podcast before. Then even you could go to school and sometimes that is helpful, but I like to I'll figure it out. Trial by fire. I'll just we just had the camera malfunction for whatever. I have no idea why, but we're back at it, and it's and it's going to turn out to be, what it is, and a great conversation. But just remembering no one really has it figured out. No. And we're just making it up as we go. Exactly. It's really, I don't know, helps me pursue different things in my life. And then I've gotten some weird things about this too, cause I have a vlog also, and then the podcast, and my goal I need to kind of work on my podcast elevator pitch, cause people are like, what's it about? And I'm like, well,
it's like Seinfeld.
It's like Seinfeld. You just kind of figure it out.
Show about nothing. What?
Yeah.
You're well, no, it's you just talk.
Yeah. You just talk, and then have a conversation and find out what's important to people in their lives. And hopefully you pull the little nuggets. But some people, I was asked, what gives you the credibility to talk about things? I think the way I worded it, I was and then to have conversations to help unravel the mysteries of the human experience. And they're well, what makes you think you could?
Because I'm a human being? Yeah. I'm alive?
Well, actually, I believe every human being is should think about it, and can have a conversation about it. I would never discredit someone or oh, you haven't been to you don't have a master's, you shouldn't be talking about.
Who are you to
try to understand?
I have a really good one for that. Yeah. So 2009. I was watching the Today Show, and they had these panel of 4 guys who would talk to Kathy Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb. They talked about, the 4 guys would give the male perspective to Kathy Lee and Hoda, right? And well, one day I just happened to be watching, and they're like, so Curtis Stone has to go, he's going to be on The Apprentice, so we need someone to fill his seat. And so it could be you, one of these things, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I called James Hume, and we made a video.
Yeah.
Made one for him too.
Yeah.
Just on a whim, let's do it.
Throw your hat in the ring.
Be fun. Why not? This is the Myrna Hume. Why not? So we made our videos and we sent them off, and the phone rang, and I won. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I went to the Today Show. I was on the panel of guys, and I had a cousin, I still have her. I just don't talk to her that much.
Yeah.
Called me when she found out that I got, who are you to go on and talk about relationships? And I'm like, well, I've had a lot of relationships and the fail. Yeah, but she's talking about the failures. I'm like, yeah, but at least I tried. And I'm like, but it's because why not me?
Yeah.
So I went to New York.
Yeah.
I sat on this panel. I had fun. I'd never been to Manhattan before. I didn't have the means to go to Manhattan and to stay in, So it was a free trip to New York, and I got to be on and meet Hoda. And why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, sometimes you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I started the production company, who are you to start a TV show? And come on, dude. Well, it was successful. Next thing you know, I'm in Manhattan again. I made tons of trips to Manhattan, and I'm shooting with Colin Quinn and Tim Allen and Ray Romano and Vic DiBitetto and Jim Labriola. These guys. I had an ensemble cast, and we were shooting sizzle reels, trying to make a show and pitch it in LA. And Pat Boone, all these. And Richard Lewis, all these big name celebrities. Because I went for it. And that's how life should be. Go for it.
Go
do
for it.
And we didn't sell a show, but I was there. I was in the game and doing it, and have these friends with these. It's not that they're celebrities, but it took a lot of work to get where those guys are. And just the fact that they were treating me like an equal and stuff. And I was just like, this is really cool. This is what happens when you chase your passion. So I want to be that as a mayor. Like, why not you? Why not you be an entrepreneur and start a business in Tacoma that'll thrive? Why not you get involved and make a change? I say that to the people running for council. I'm like, good for you. Look at you. You're trying to make a difference. You're actually in the game. You're not just talking about it. You're in the game. There's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot to be said for you doing what you're doing. You're making a difference. You're reaching people. That's life. That's grabbing it by the horns.
And it's interesting because from the outside too, like especially with like famous people, it's like, that's like initially like the attention and the notoriety is like the credibility or the like, whoa, like Ray Romano, you get to be like around him. But then like when you're in it and you're doing it, then they just become someone that's passionate about what they're doing. And then you're in this community of people creating. Like you just become like the same. Like I've met like a lot of other creators that are like, it's like this spark of excitement that's like, cause you kind of get it where you're like, we're both creating and we know how hard it is. And we know that some people just aren't quite there yet for whatever reason, or they're there in a different area and don't necessarily understand. But it's,
it takes a lot to get there. And just to be in that arena and to actually do it. Most people will never do what you're doing. Because out of fear of rejection or failure. But you know what? so what? I mean,
Yeah.
Life is to be lived.
Yeah. That's actually kind of why I don't work for the city anymore.
Yeah.
It's not because I like hated the job. Like there was parts about it that I really liked, and I loved being like a part of the process.
Yeah.
But I just like, I have so much of this in me that I'm like, I would actually go through this mental exercise where I would like ask myself, what is failure? Like, as a human, right? Like ultimate failure is death. Like that would be, but then you're dead. So it doesn't even really matter at the end of the day. Right. And so then I would think back like, okay, like and then there's all the ego failure that you're like worried about what people think. But if you can get over that, then there's like nothing stopping you. And then like death, like you'd have to like lose your job, lose like your place that you're living. And then like, even like so thankful in our community that like, even if you weren't able to get food, like someone like you would be put in the hospital and like force fed food, like before we would let you die.
Right.
Like, and so then it kind of like liberated me, like liberated, just really liberated me out of it. Just liberate. It's really been a burden. But to like seek this, like who knows where this is going to go for me, but it's so fun and it's so interesting.
Is awesome.
And like, I love creating the experience, and like, hopefully like that's was another one of the parts. It's like, no one has it figured out. But then when people are looking at me, like I want it to be conversational, because I don't go into this like I have the right answer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I love the, your approach. Like I'm here to serve people. Yeah. Like, I don't think that I have the right idea, but I want to have the conversations that might inspire the right questions for someone to find the answer for themselves. Yeah. Because I don't think you can also with like life things, you could be told the answer, but like until you find it for yourself, it won't click. Yeah. But you have to like listen to and go through the things, or like go through the production company to like get where you're going, to like have the different things click.
It's like we kind of touched on, it's like things sounding cliche. Mm-hmm. They're a cliche until they mean something to you, until you can until you're at a point where you can put those cliches to use. Yes. And it's like, I remember there was a point where I was like in my 40s or something, and I would see these live, laugh, love, all these kind of things where you're just like, oh, wow. I hear that again. and then all of a sudden I hit a point of maturity, I'm guessing, where I was like, it is true. Live, laugh. I mean, that is true. Yeah. That should be what life is all about. Yeah. So there's a point where you wake up and you go, that's not a cliche. Yeah. Or go for everything. Go for it. If you can dream it, you can do it. And you're like, oh God, give me a break. And then you're like, yeah, well, I actually did it.
Yeah. You're like, actually, that
kind of works. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you come to a realization that, oh yeah, there's more to life than what I've been doing. Yeah. But the people, people that are going to criticize you, it's not a comparison, but you kind of got to look at what have they done? Yeah. Oh yeah. Because the biggest critics are not the people who have accomplished the most, and who are really kicking ass at what they want out of life. Yes. They're the ones who are sitting at the same desk that they sat at for 25 years. At home, and look at him out there trying to create podcasts, and look at him trying to create TV shows. Yes. Well, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, like it's fun. Because it's fun. And why not? Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what's going to come at this. Like, I want to make good episodes and good, interesting things, but it's something too that's changed in me over time too. Like, cause when I started, it's like you start mimicking what other people are doing until you can find your own voice. Yeah. But then I also realized like art, like
from one perspective, we're like really fine detailed art is like very impressive. But then now appreciating like my setup here, is like kind of like a basic at home setup. Like it's like they're decent mics, but not the most expensive. They're like the lights work, but they're not. But then I see, I actually have another friend that started the Rise and Dad podcast. If you're a dad and you want to listen to a podcast, it's really great. But their production level is like 10 times. Like they've got a dedicated studio, outdoor, like soundproof rooms, like soundboard, like multiple cameras, like super nice. And the production is like amazing. But then like it is just a different art form. Yeah. And like a different piece of art that's like no better or worse. It's just different. And it's like, if I held myself to that, and it would be like, I'd probably never do it because it's like, it takes so much to create something like that. Yeah. Whereas like, I'm kind of like I'm creating a setup that I can also like take somewhere and hopefully do like more in-person interviews or like do them outside and things. Which I just think will be really fun and entertaining. And it's funny because in being in having that same background, your equipment, you do get judged by it by people. You get judged. You're like, really? Are you podunk, or are you really? Are you serious? Like what am I walking to? Like I was thinking of, like in the future, if I have like real big famous people, because one of my funny strategies is watching the Tacoma Dome and then like emailing people that are going to be in town and be like, hey, you want to stop in? But then I'm like, people are coming to my house. like you want to come over? And then like, to whatever degree their expectation, but I've just got like, whatever, like it's going to be the vibe of like just hanging out. So,
I have a funny story. Yeah. So shooting that show in New York, right? So I'm in a tight car, and I have a small handheld camera that shoots exactly the same as my big camera. Yeah. 1080i at the time, that was a good thing. But I needed a fisheye on it to get the whole thing shot, right? Well, it was so we're in the car, I'm doing this thing, we get out of the car, we go to the door to shoot Vic DiBattista, and he opens the door and he sees me. This is the first time he met me, and I got this tiny camera. And he totally thought, what the hell did I sign on for? This is some dude with a little camcorder. I felt it. I knew that he was thinking that. Like, oh my God, I thought this was a professional thing. Yeah. And this dude shows up. It was small. Right? I remember hustling my gear into the house and making sure I pulled out my big camera as soon as humanly possible to put him at ease that I was serious. A professional. Yeah. And it worked. Yeah. Because I saw his attitude totally change. And he saw the big camera. It's like, oh, okay.
They're like, okay, this is something real.
It matters.
It does.
It's so silly.
Yeah, it's so silly.
But it's are you really professional?
Yeah, I know. Or, that's kind of what I want. Like one thing I've thought is like, I could invite people to the park or like on a hike. Yeah. And then like, how many people that are like going on tours, like have time to go for a hike, or like my mom was like, you should interview Martha Stewart or something. I was like, how long has it been since she's been on a hike? Like get them out of their comfort zone. Yeah. I think it'd be just real fun.
Of course.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I was something you said.
I mean, what we were talking about is it's kind of, it kind of plays into running for mayor because people think it's a big lofty out of your element kind of thing, or who are you to think you could run for mayor? Yeah. So you do get a lot of that legitimacy, questions of your legitimacy. Yeah. But you know what? I immediately go to, look at people on council. A former mayor, I don't need to say
Yeah.
who they were.
Yeah.
But worked at Starbucks corporate and was a librarian.
Yeah.
And was mayor. Next.
Yeah.
The next progress was Starbucks,
Mayor,
librarian.
Oh yeah.
Mayor.
Wow.
I mean, it really anyone can do it. You don't have to have a political background. You don't have to be a mastermind to do this. You have to be passionate about your city and know enough of what can and can't be done.
Yeah.
But truly, living here my entire life, I've lived here longer than any of the other candidates.
Yeah.
Longer than than people who were mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, I have more Tacoma experience than a lot of people who are great mayors.
Yeah.
So, and a cool thing has been for me is meeting former mayors.
Oh yeah.
And like last night I was at dinner with, and I'm not name dropping, it was just a cool thing. I was out with Brian Eversole, former mayor. And the funny thing is, when I look at timelines, he was mayor at the exact same age I am now.
Oh wow.
And it was a great mayor.
Yeah.
He did a lot of great things for the city. But last night we were talking with a group of people, and I was getting kind of fired up about where I stand on things and really going into, and I said, well, they would ask a question. I go, well, I have a dissertation on that. I can, you won't be able to shut me up. So you buckle in.
You want to go?
Yeah. You really want to go there? I'm like, no. And Eversole actually said, well, you said you have a dissertation, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done, after, 5 minutes of saying, well, this affects this and this and this and this and this, and here's how it all comes together and blah, blah, blah. He was like, and I know, Brian, this is not an endorsement. I'm not saying you're endorsing me, but he was like, well, okay, well, when Steve is mayor, we need to do this. And he was like fired up about what I had said.
Yeah.
And this is our, I don't know, 5th or 6th meeting.
Yeah.
But to hear someone like that legitimize what I'm doing, and Bill Barsma is another former mayor who I've gotten to know, to have them legitimize what I'm doing and what I'm running for, means a lot.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
There's a political analyst, a political consultant named Alex Hayes, who has run so many campaigns, successful campaigns in the state of Washington and elsewhere. He's worldwide. But he approached me last time, and he started out, the first conversation we had was, well, you're not going to win, right? And I was like,
thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he had liked what I had been saying, and was giving me advice and didn't make me pay for it or anything.
Yeah.
Well, this time around, two of the other candidates both approached him to, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry, I'm supporting Steve.
Yeah.
Steve's got it. Got it figured out.
Yeah.
And so to have
That's cool.
support of people like that, who other candidates know are powerhouses. Yeah. But nope, I'm with him.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
It's happened quite a bit in this last campaign where people are texting, hey, I got a campaign sign for you. Oh, sorry, I'm sitting with Steve right now. I'm supporting him.
Yeah.
So that means a lot to have, and it's like other candidates supporting you. So to know that there's people who know Tacoma and love Tacoma who are supporting my efforts, it means a lot. It legitimizes.
It's very reassuring because you're just like this too. Like I'm just going in a void.
Exactly.
Like, and I actually, I just like saying this. I think like we should normalize like saying supporting things to our friends. Like
totally.
this, like, even if you're not, just saying like, I really admire what you're doing. Cause like someone just said to me kind of out of the blue, like, I really admire the things that you're doing, like with yoga and this. Cool. And it was just like, wow, like that
feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah. Like I would do it anyways, but I'm like, it like reassures me that I'm going in the right direction.
And it makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. You're like, sweet. Like, cause so often it goes like, after a yoga class, like when someone says like, that was an awesome class, I'm like, I did a good job. Yeah. Like if you don't say anything, I'm just like, how was it?
Did you get anything out of it?
Yeah. Did you like it? I don't know. Am I doing the right thing?
And it's not an insecurity thing in you. Yeah. It's like, you want to know if what you're doing is...
and be receptive
with what they are.
Especially like in a mayor position, like you have to be receptive of what are you liking the mayoring that I'm doing? Like, just mayoring it up out here.
Well, and like we were talking about with Facebook, luckily with Facebook, I'll find out right away if I'm not doing a good job.
You're find out real fast.
Because all you got to do to
10 minutes.
All part of why I ran last time was seeing the hatred that people had for our city government last time. I'm like, oh man, if this is people's opinions, then definitely somebody had better throw their hat in the ring. And we're right there still. The comment sections on the Tacoma City government page are wow.
You know where they're also really good is the Pierce County Sheriff has an Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And it's like so
brutal.
It's just there for every person that hates cops. It's like, like the first one I ever looked at was like, they got new hats. They got like some cowboy hats.
Oh no.
And it was like, you're just wasting money on like, it was like a fun, like community engagement type of post. And it was just like, it was just hundreds of comments of just awful. Oh man.
It's brutal out there.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's a good barometer.
Yeah.
I say to people running, I'm like, pay attention to what they're saying because there's truth to it.
Yeah.
They're not just making it up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to it, what's being said. So pay attention.
Yeah. It is like, that's funny. It is like a barometer that's like more or less bad. Yeah. And so it's like when it's really, and then it's like, which one is which? Like when it's really bad, does that mean you're doing a good job?
Yeah.
Or is it it's like when it's a little bit less, I guess it just depends.
I think when the people go up to the podium at city council meetings, and they crucify the council pretty regularly. Come on now, if they're saying it, there's some truth to it. So pay attention.
Yeah,
and that's what does not happen in Tacoma. They don't pay attention. They just go with where they're directed to go.
I've been to some city council meetings, and it is especially, it's interesting too, because there's like the regular community and there's kind of the squeaky wheels that are like saying something. And I think there's like a listening exhaustion or something that happens where it's like they become a nuisance and then there's just like, oh, that's Jerry, like he's just gonna complain about something, and then it's like you turn it off. But it's like, so that's like an art in itself to like be able to still like hear through to it and address someone's issue. At least a lot of people too, I think, I mean, just want to know that they're being heard. Like that's the most frustrating thing is when you just can't get anything.
Monday night I was at a North End neighborhood council meeting, and there were actually four of us there that were running for mayor, and two of us paid attention to every question from the public had. There's 4 candidates and 2 council members were there, and myself and one other candidate paid attention, stayed there from start to finish, listened to everything that was being said.
Have a good day at work.
Hi, nice to meet you. Cough break. And so while we're hanging on every question and listening, the more seasoned council members and people were completely tuned out.
Oh, wow.
One went out, was on their phone, walking in front of the window where everyone could see that you weren't paying attention. but got up, said what this person needed to say, and then was in another room laughing and joking. Someone went out and said, "Can you keep it down? We're trying."
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Then was out on their phone.
Yeah.
Another person, I won't say, was scrolling through social media on their phone.
Wow.
While the public is asking questions that they should be paying attention to. Wow. Another person.
Good thing though, they probably won't pay attention to this. So,
yeah, they won't see this.
They won't even know.
But then, but as soon as another one was done up speaking, had to do their little 3-minute update, gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Didn't stick around to listen to the questions and the answers.
Dang.
And that's, like you said, they kind of tuned out. They've heard it all before. But you know what? So what?
That says so much, though. Like people notice that, and it's like you're just here to jump through the hoop. Yeah. But you're not here to be here. Yeah. And that's that really shows.
There will even be people who, when they see this and what I just said, who will oh, I can't believe he threw them under the bus like that.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah. Pay attention.
Yeah.
That's what you're here for. Yeah. That's why you're running. You pay attention. Yeah. I don't care if you're on your second term and you're at the end of your run or something. Yeah. So what?
I think too, the political, understanding, what you say, someone's always going to take it wrong, but seeing that, the point of that too is the importance of paying attention. Yeah. And stressing it. And so it's I hear it, I hope people can hear it. It's that's what's important. But yeah. And then I think people can see it, it's when someone's not paying attention or not there. It's
tuned out.
Tuned out. Yeah. I was curious too about some of your work-life balance, doing something like this or going for mayor. Yeah. I have to, one strategy for me has been when I want to do something and I don't know exactly how to do it. Yeah. The first thing is just dedicating time to it. Yeah. And then I just show up at the time and I figure it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to not be perfect. Right. And then you just keep showing up and then you build on it. Right. Yeah. You get a nicer camera, you get a new thing. And then, but what's, work-life balance for you? Or what's it look like in the campaign? Yeah.
For me, it's, so one thing I like about the campaign that I've been running and a few of the other people, Salong, I complimented him on his campaign, and is I like doing it my own way. I don't, I do make it up as I go along like you, but that's how we evolved through life. I don't do it. My campaign is not like anyone else's campaign. I love that. And James has brought a lot of that artistic flair to it, but the good thing is, it's evolved constantly. We're ever changing. I think a lot of the other campaigns are very boilerplate, very boring. I've been told one of the other candidates has used the same sign for everything he's ran for. Exactly the same, only he's changed.
He just switched thing.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not creative. We've changed we have 5 or 6 different signs from the time we started a year ago.
I also, which I want to ask you more about too. But I love pattern, marketing, psychology and pattern disruption. And cause if you're using the same sign, people aren't seeing it anymore because it's that's just the sign that's been there for whatever. And you change the one little thing. It's I don't know how long that's been there for 5 years. It's the same thing. And now I ignore it because it's like if you have a messy house or something, and at some point you just stop noticing the pile of things you were going to take to the Goodwill. Exactly. And then you're I'm going to do it. But then 4 weeks go by and you just don't even see it anymore. Right. And then you're oh man. Yeah. And we do that with signs and clutter and things. So it's if there's not pattern disruption, it's just going to blend away.
Oh, totally.
But yeah,
it's funny you say that because my sign last time, I wouldn't use in a million years because it ties people to the negativity that was said before.
Oh yeah.
And they actually took my sign, the old sign, and they changed the word. They photoshopped different words in there that were just horrible.
Oh
yeah. So I have like
Photoshop.
I have like 4 of those signs left in my basement just for posterity. But they bring back a bad memory because they edited.
That's
nice.
So
good job.
Yeah, nailed it.
Well done. You guys are awesome harassers.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ever changing, it's got to evolve. So our campaign has evolved, over time, and it'll continue to do so. Hopefully up through the general election. So,
and then do you how much do you how much time do you put into it?
So yeah, work-life balance.
Yeah.
I'm doing it 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So my job, I'm up at 5 a.m. And then I usually am home by hopefully 4:30 on a late day, but then my phone keeps ringing. So, which I have to mute my work phone when I'm at home because it drives me crazy and my wife too.
Totally.
So, but honestly, I'm going, if I'm awake, I'm moving.
Yeah.
I don't have any downtime. My wife and daughter, my daughter Charlotte's 6, and they texted me from the Furcrest pool on Sunday. I'm working on the campaign. I had stuff I had to get done.
Yeah.
You have all your reporting and stuff you have to do. And I get a text, Charlotte wants you to come to the pool. All right.
Yeah.
And so I just change and go to the pool, and I'm swimming knowing that I have all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I got to put my family first. And there's times when Kelly is like, I feel like a single parent, and we
can't do that.
Can't do this.
Yeah.
So that's all it takes. And then I'm snapped to it. So sometimes that means being on the computer till midnight, answering the emails and going back and forth with artwork and stuff with James and our whole crew. So it's 7 days a week. Yeah. And that knots I talked about, that's all, it's always there.
Yeah,
It hasn't been here since I've been here.
In my house.
No knots in my stomach.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
So the Zen master is working.
Yeah. If anyone needs a little break from their campaign or their busy life, just come hang out for a bit.
Tommy's got it.
Yeah.
Well done,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned your team. What's that?
So
what's a team?
a team?
No, what's it look like
so
for you guys?
On big campaigns, ours is not a big campaign. We do not, I have not aggressively gone out to try to get endorsements or to get money, or last time, this is funny you say this. So last time I got through the primary on $908.70.
That seems like not
my own money.
Yeah.
That's what it took. And people were trying to give me money, and I'd have to say, I'm not taking your money.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've done this.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I don't even know if I'll make it through the primary. So I tell you what, if I make it through the primary, you can give me money. So I declined anything. Well, so I bought all my signs and did my filing all on my own. This time around, I didn't say that. So people have given money, but I haven't aggressively tried to raise anything. I've done everything for around $13,000, something like that. Two of the other candidates, for example, have raised over $250,000.
Oh, buddy.
$250,000.
Wow.
They've spent in this at the time of filing. So as of 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they've spent over $120,000.
What?
And we are neck and neck.
Wow. So what do you do?
We're neck and neck.
Yeah.
They've spent all this money.
Yeah.
And I know it might sound like a cheap shot, but I'm just putting it out there. This shows you how easy it is for people in politics to waste money.
Totally.
To spend money.
Yeah.
The money that they've raised it comes from developers. It comes from rental companies who are looking to cash in on home in Tacoma too.
Yeah.
And I'm not just this is not rhetoric. This is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
You look it up on the PDC, and it is developers.
Yeah.
And they want those other people in there so they can cash in.
Can people look and see the contributions? Where
Every
do they
day.
look?
On PDC website.
PDC?
It's like pdc.org or something like that.
What is PDC?
Public Disclosure Committee.
Oh, cool.
Or,
something like that. PDC. Yeah. Some acronym.
I haven't had to say it all day, so I can't.
Yeah.
So public disclosure.
That's cool.
And every dime you've spent.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Who have you paid? They've paid $6,000, $8,000 to consultants.
Yeah.
I haven't paid anyone on my team.
Yeah. Consultants.
Yeah. I have bought stickers, postcards, signs, the website.
Yeah.
That's what all my money has been spent. There's nothing controversial in, I haven't received money from any, last time I had people on Reddit and whatever saying I was
Tumblr.
Oh, he couldn't have done all this. He couldn't have. Where'd he get all those signs? He had to have gotten it from Dark Money. I'm like, Dark money? What are you talking about, dude?
That?
Dark money. Yeah, I'm getting it from the Saudis.
Yeah,
I'm Saudi backed.
Like oil money coming in or something.
It's like I haven't taken money from anyone but just regular old people.
Yeah.
Regular
just
people who believe. I didn't mean old.
Oh, yeah, just kidding.
Regular people.
Just regular old
it's
people.
It's like no controversial money has come into mine, but I tell you, I'm watching every dime that goes in those other ones.
Like, is it like an open contribution system? Like, could a big developer like contribute like without you having known it or something like that?
So excuse me. So they can give a maximum of $1,200 for the primary and $1,200 for the general.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of times you'll see that in those other campaigns, $1,200 for the general, $1,200, and it says who gave it. It's all right there in black and white. I received a $1,200 donation from a massage therapist who lives in Gig Harbor. Never met her. Never. But she said, we got to have, and then she put RLY Haverly. We got to have Steve in her notes. Just someone who believes. And then, but as far as the team we're talking about,
that's gotta feel so like so much gratitude to just be like those two are like, like those affirmations. That's
just find who they are and send them a thank you and just go, that was really cool. You just bought a bunch of signs for us. Thank you. But the team has been all people like James and his wife Odessa, of course. Steve Nacarado is a big, his family was so involved in Tacoma over decades. I mean, his dad is responsible for he's the reason we have the Tacoma Rainiers and the Tacoma Tigers back in the day. And, but there's people like that who will meet with and who line up meetings with other people and, hey, I really need you to talk to this business. They want to know what you're all about. So it's been all of us together. There's I can send out a text at any time to this group. And like, hey, we're going to do this thing. They don't ask what it is. Or we're going to do some guerrilla marketing. Meet at James's house at 5:00. And no need to RSVP. Just show up. If you can make it, show up. They always show up.
That's awesome.
And we go out and we'll wave signs over the freeway overpasses, or we'll go put signs out. Just always a group of people. Not getting paid for it. They're doing it because they have a passion for what I'm running for. And that's cool. That means that makes it so much more worthwhile than it was last time. Last time it was me by myself at 4 a.m. sticking signs.
You're like, oh God. How many people would you say is on the team?
Probably 10.
10? Yeah. That's cool. I like it. I've seen your signs around. I like your signs.
Cool. Thanks.
It's funny, I like working in the planning office, I would get asked about signs sometimes and stuff. And I thought it was really funny during the sheriff elections where they were like really pushing the limits of the like what's acceptable, because they'd have like billboards like all over town. I'm like, you are the police. Like you're
Right.
the ones like breaking the rules.
So I'm glad you want to know about that?
Yeah, I do.
I got a big story about that one.
Yeah.
That started with my campaign,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
So the 4x8 signs.
Yeah, the big boys.
Those were bought by someone who I got a lot of flack for.
Yeah.
For his involvement. And another candidate. So we were the ones who started the big
signs.
But it wasn't our campaign.
Yeah.
It was
Outside.
Someone
Yeah.
had them made and delivered to my house,
Wow.
to the other candidate's house.
Wow.
Really, really wanted to push us
Put these suckers up.
because they didn't like my opponent.
Oh, yeah.
This is the last time.
Yeah.
And I got so much flack for those, and I had to respond to the emails, and they're illegal. Funny thing is, they were not illegal.
No. Yeah.
They were in the right of way.
Yeah.
They were exactly,
Political
they
signs.
were as big as you could go.
Yeah.
You couldn't go bigger than
4x8 is
4x8.
big.
It was a sheet
That's
of plywood.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And excuse me, everywhere they were put was perfectly legal.
Yeah.
Even on the big concrete cinder, the blocks, and with 2x4s roto hammered into them, and in the middle of 21st Street.
Yeah.
Legal.
Wow.
Because I got so much flack for it. I was like writing who had done it and said, you got to take care of this.
Yeah.
And so then, and I would forward the email to who they needed to talk to.
Yeah.
And I got copied on everything, and they were like, nope, these are perfectly, and they stated the code, they stated the guidelines, and every single one of those was legal.
Yeah.
So, but after that,
it's like that was
people
the
were like,
standard.
Yes, we can do what they did.
Yeah, like this sheriff one, there was like a sheriff billboard on every corner.
Oh yeah.
It was like, Jesus.
And it was the same. It was the same guy.
Yeah.
Who did the ones for me.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is now I know better. Now I know that I can refuse those.
Oh yeah.
But
at the time, you're just like, it's support.
I didn't know.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
And you have to report that to the PDC.
Oh, interesting.
So this person's name showed up on my PDC, and he had there were bad things being said about him through town. So I was immediately tied to him.
Associated, yeah.
Yeah, and so it didn't help my campaign at all. It hurt me way more.
Yeah.
So much so that I have a blog on my website that talks about that.
Yeah.
And says, if I see any of those signs, I will tear them down myself.
Dang. Yeah.
You know, like you have my word that that'll not happen again.
That's
and that
so
it didn't
interesting.
Come from me.
Like with I was kind of asking about the developers, like if they can because I could see the scenario where like some developer, donates and doesn't have anything to do with you, but then it's like, could be even this is like getting into conspiracy stuff, like a plant to be like, oh, well, I see the contribution. And so like, do you have a way to like refuse?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can refuse it. You have, I think you have like 5 business days.
Yeah.
To either, if they send you a check, you have to send it back.
Oh, wow.
Or if they do an online contribution, you have to reject it.
Yeah.
And, or refund it within 5 days, something like that. So there is a way to do it. Now that I know that, but then I was like, God, that's a lot of signs. I do need this.
Yeah, totally.
But I didn't know the backlash that would follow.
Yeah, you get like something like that too. It's like before you put them out, you're like, well, there's a bunch of free signs and they're pretty big. Like, might help.
The thing about that is anyone can support anyone they want.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
If they put those signs out there, I can't force them to take them down.
Yeah.
But you have to report it.
Yeah. Have you,
I don't know. You have to report it.
Yeah. Have you seen any like, direct slander for sure, but like indirect, like slander, like trying to set you up for things or like make you look like you're involved in stuff?
Well, it might sound insignificant, but I was just telling James outside when we first got here.
Yeah.
I got an email yesterday or the day before from a girl saying, one of your people put your sign in my yard without my permission. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. There's been I had a neighbor across the street came over, and her boyfriend, who lives on the other side of Tacoma, got one of my opponents put his sign in their yard.
Yeah.
They support me.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the signs yet.
Yeah.
And so he told my neighbor, he's like, tell Steve I want one of his signs. So-and-so put their sign in my yard, and I don't support him, I support you. Well, I immediately thought, well, maybe he's putting signs in people's yards without their permission to make it look like they support him. Yeah. Well, lo and behold, I get an email saying someone did that for mine, and I'm like, no, we don't do that. Yeah. So someone could have stolen a sign from the street to put it in someone's yard
to start spreading. Yeah.
To have them go, that bastard put a sign in my yard.
Why would they do that? Like, because every single person that it feels like an affront, and then they're like, this guy's just putting signs in people's yards.
Yeah, without their permission. What a jerk. He's not getting my vote. Yeah. That much. So is that what happened? James and I, we have a couple other people who are putting signs, but they know explicitly not to put them in someone's yard without their permission. Yeah. Explicitly. Yeah. Like, do not do that. Yeah. And I've also said, if you see one of our opponent's signs that's been broken or knocked over, stand it back up. Yeah. Yeah. Stand it back up. I did that with Victoria Woodard's signs last time. I said, nope, if you tear her stuff down, I'm putting it back up. Yeah. Because it does immediately. They think it's the opponent. Totally. You know? Yeah. So our team of people will, if they see a sign down, they'll put it back up. That's cool. I don't want to be, because it could be associated with
it is interesting. It's like, it's like a nice thing to do. It's a kind thing to do, but it is like, just something as simple as that. People just immediately go to the story. Well, like, now Steve's going around with his witchcraft.
Exactly.
Putting up billboards, taking down people's signs.
I know, right?
Cursing them. Have you cursed any of your opponents yet?
Not yet.
Has it come to that?
I wanted to illuminate the one about my neighbor and that, but I was like, nah, just let it go. But I have my opinions. I can see some shenanigans. Mm-hmm. When you see it over and over, when you see your sign, this is more of what goes on in the mind of a candidate. When you see your sign and the wind didn't knock it down, it was taken out, turned and put over here, or when you see where your sign was and the sign itself is gone, but you still see the stand, you're like, and it's happening a lot lately. The last 2 weeks, our signs have been stolen on it's the like regular. Competitive. Yeah. But I did see we had some of our signs disappear from a roundabout, like within an hour of being there. Oh, wow. But then I was driving down North 21st and I saw 2 of my signs in someone's yard that I didn't place. I'm like,
they were like,
cool.
We're going to get those.
We're going to support that guy.
Interesting.
So I was like, that's cool. When you see a sign that you didn't place, someone did and supported you.
That's so cool.
It's a good feeling.
That is really neat.
Coming over here, I see the signs that James is putting out there with the Tacoma Dome. They're great looking signs, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, there's one like I see like every day when I come home from work by the 7-Eleven.
Right. Yeah. The Tacoma Dome one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh, for your signs. You're awesome.
Did he do the artwork?
So Josh Casey did all our signs: the Tacoma Dome, the Cityscape, the Browns Point Lighthouse, and the Narrows Bridges.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He's killer.
Yeah,
and he puts them up in a lot of places too.
Oh, that's cool. Now, what about like we're talking about like slander, and then you mentioned some like your team and getting together with old mayors and stuff.
Yeah.
What about secret organization? Now that you're getting into the mayoral realm,
right?
Are you getting accused of being in like You know, like people like he's Illuminati or something like
that.
When does that happen? You know,
I would say after the primary. If I get through the primary, shit gets real, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
it's serious.
I'd like to say it won't happen, but I've been there before.
Yeah.
I've already been through this. It's going to happen. It's coming. The political machine, I will tell you this, and this isn't just my assumption. This isn't rhetoric. This is coming from people inside the machine. The machine does not want me. Special interests don't want me.
Yeah.
Developers don't want me because I'm vocal about where I think our attention needs to be. And it should not be on tearing down homes like this. Yeah. Because it feels like an assault. It feels like an assault on our city to a lot of people. Yeah. 70% of people living in Tacoma did not favor home in Tacoma, but it was never put to a vote by the people. Yeah. It was passed unanimously by the city council. And a lot of people, and same with there were 24 recommendations by the charter committee. And there were 24 well thought out from both sides of the aisle, from all walks of life. They brought their opinions together and they came up with 24 great, very solid recommendations. And the council put 4 on the ballot. Wow. And they were heavily altered. They said, okay, well, we'll put it on, but we're going to change this and this and this and this. Yeah. And that's not cool. That's not democracy. So, the machine does not want a candidate like me who wants to put the people's voices first. And they will. That's why there's $250,000 being raised by just 2 of the opponents. I use them as the example because they are the former and current council members. They are part of what got us to where we are right now. And that's what I drive home. And it's not being mean. It's not sleazy. I'm saying they are part of the reason why we are where we are. Yeah. And so if you want more of the same, by all means, vote for them. I'm not more of the same. Yeah. And whether the machine wants me there or not, doesn't matter. As long as the voters are who matters. And I'm putting all of our voices. I'm a voter. You're a voter. I'm putting our voices first. So if that makes me a bad guy, so be it. Then don't vote for me. But yeah, so I think the attacks, they will come, period. I mean, I know it and I'm ready for them. Yeah. So bring it on. I've been here before and I know that life goes on no matter what. So bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. Let's go.
Myrna Hume would not let me step down, neither would my dad. So
I think we cut out the shoes. So we got to see that Myrna
Hume. These are my Myrna Hume memorial shoes. She's the person responsible for a lot of things I've done in life. So
they're your good luck charm.
They are my good luck charm.
Your mayor good luck.
I get a lot of comments on these everywhere I go.
I bet they're really cool shoes.
And I always say, and I wish I had a good story. It's just Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Amazon. I didn't get them in Italy or anything.
But Myrna Hume. Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm golden.
Yeah. I feel like we covered a lot. Yeah. This has been really good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve, so much for coming on the podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Awesome.
This has been great.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Come back. Yeah.
After the primary.
After the primary, when things get real and you need like a break.
I need to not have knots in my stomach. I'm coming back to the Zen master.
Yeah. Knowing we're coming to an end, are the knots starting to like tangle up as we're
maybe a little.
Maybe like, here we go.
Oh man, I got to go back outside into the real world. They're all going to get me.
Yeah. They're going to get you after this. Watch out.